Welcome to the State of the Market for Law Firm Sales in 7 minutes. My name is Jeremy Poock, and I lead Senior Attorney Match. In today's In 7 Minutes, we'll continue with our thought leadership series on trial attorneys. And today's topic is how brand and digital value will increase PI firm sale values in 2023 and beyond. And I'm very excited to introduce an industry leader, Jason Hennessey. Jason, welcome. You lead Hennessey Digital. You're a great leader in this field. Please, if you could introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about Hennessey Digital too.
Yeah, Jeremy, thank you. Honored to be here today with you. So, Jason Hennessey, I've been in legal marketing since 2008. So, for a long time here, I'd say. I have a company called Hennessey Digital, where we do digital marketing for law firms all over the country. We work with some of the biggest names in the space. And I wrote a book called Law Firm SEO, which is right behind me here. It's my passion. And so I'm excited to talk about this here today with you.
Terrific. And I know also behind you is your upcoming book, which is going to drop in early August,
Yes,
Honest SEO. So congratulations and look forward to that book drop, Jason. So
thank you.
let's jump right into it. When it comes to valuing a law practice post 2020, we see five components to valuing a law firm. Those five components consist of the client list, the referral source list. Together, that comprises an attorney's book of business, goodwill, subject matter knowledge, and digital value, which we'll talk a lot about today.
Yeah.
We're also in the post 2020 world, we're entering into what we call law firm sales 2.0. And it's trial lawyers that are leading the charge in law firm sales 2.0. Because in law firm sales 2.0, what we're going to see, which differs significantly from 1.0, is that there's going to start to be fixed prices. That is real money paid at a closing table. Banks will fund these types of law firm sales because sellers and trial attorneys here are going to be able to show analytics based upon digital value and brand equity. So, Jason, really curious to know your thoughts about the importance of digital value as today's trial attorneys are building up their firms.
Yeah. Um, so digital value is super important. It seems obvious, but a lot of people don't kind of really think about it from this perspective of if and when I'm going to sell my business, how much will that add to the actual valuation of the firm? And there's tools that you can actually use. A tool that we use is called SEMrush. It kind of gives you a glimpse of your brand equity, right? So like if you're doing a big TV campaign, a radio campaign, billboards, right? Sometimes you're like, how do I track it? Well, there's ways that you can actually monitor. So is your brand actually growing? Like is the amount of times people searching for your brand growing? And then they assign a value to that, right? Because there's competitors that are bidding on your brand name as you're building a bigger name in the marketplace. And so you're able to see, like a big firm like a Morgan and Morgan, right? Their brand value is probably $10 million per month, right? Just on their brand, right? So that's an important aspect. You want to build the brand. And then the other thing is that Google actually favors that in their algorithm too, right? So the more that they see people typing in brands, right, you get a little preferential treatment in terms of the SEO value as well.
Amazing. So you mentioned Google, right?
Mhm.
We're often saying that America's greatest referral source today is Uncle Google or Aunt Google, whichever we want to call it, right?
Yeah.
Could you talk to us about the importance of Google reviews for growing trial attorney firms? Why are Google reviews in particular so important when building up digital value?
Yeah. Well, it all comes down, right? It's the zero moment of truth, right? So like when people are doing a search online, before they even click on your website, they're seeing your Google My Business listing. And then we're reading your reviews before they even see who you are, right? And so that's a big part of the algorithm as well, which is going to help increase your digital value. So, you have to look at your space and look at your competitors. And if you've got 5 reviews and your biggest competitor has 750, right? You've got a long way to go, right? You've got a long way to grow to growing your firm, but you have to take that very seriously. It's a big part of building out the valuation of your firm too.
Terrific. And you already started talking about brand equity, right?
Mhm.
And branding of law firms. Could you share your thoughts on law firm brand equity when Hennessey Digital is working with a growing trial attorney firm and they're talking about digital value? Do you
Mhm.
also introduce, or how do you introduce brand equity and the importance of building up brand equity in their market, regionally and sometimes even nationally?
Yeah. Um, in some cases we work with firms that don't do a lot of branding, and in other cases we work with firms that like are laser focused on on building out the brand, from Dodger Stadium to being in the Miami Heat Stadium, right? All of that really kind of it's just driving brand awareness around your firm. It's increasing the value of your website. It's increasing the traffic to your website. And how do you measure that, right? But it's sometimes it could be a lot complicated, but at the end of the day, like what we like to do is we just like to look at like your total marketing budget, right? And then you look at how many actual signed cases did you get, right? And then from there, now you're able to see like what is your average cost per signed case for your whole collective marketing. And then from there you can kind of like go in and try to be laser focused on, okay, how much did SEO drive, how much did pay-per-click drive, and you can kind of reallocate budget, but it all kind of plays together. And it's super important that if you're investing in building out the brand, that you have to look at it. Like, you're not going to see direct ROI from doing a radio campaign in 3 months, right? But if you do it for 18 months, you're really seeing everything. Your Google searches are lifting, your brand is built, so it all kind of plays in together.
Sure. And hence why it's so different in law firm sales 2.0 as compared to 1.0, right? In
Mhm.
1.0, it's so much focused on these two green value chips of the client list and the referral source list. That is that book of business. Whereas in 2.0, it's the data analytics behind digital value and brand equity. So, Jason, here for our last question, I'm curious to know your thoughts on, consideration at a closing table. We really foresee that there will be the eight-figure and even nine-figure sales for significant trial attorney firms later this decade. And curious to know your thoughts on the roles of digital value and brand equity for attorneys to be able to sell their practices in the 8 to 9 figure range.
Yeah. Well, it all starts to compound. Every little thing that you do starts to compound. Just stuff like this, getting on a podcast and building your brand awareness with other attorneys, to speaking and becoming a thought leader, to obviously kind of building out the traffic to your website, and to generate more cases. Right. At the end of the day, that's really what kind of drives the value, is how much does your pool of business look like. So I think it's just it's super important to kind of stay focused on that. And I think we're going to start to see some of these firms that have been making this investment in some of their digital and social equity really kind of benefit from this, like you said, in the next 12 to 24 months.
Absolutely. Thank you. So for
Mhm.
today's buzzer beater, when it comes to how brand and digital value will increase PI firm sale values in 2023 and beyond, we are in law firm sales 2.0, particularly for trial attorney firms. And as Jason has pointed out today, it's important to build up an omni-channel approach to your digital marketing,
Mhm.
building up your brand equity and actually analyzing and adjusting to what the data analytics are showing so that you can put a cost on your case acquisitions and build up those case acquisitions, whether it's because you're becoming a thought leader yourself or your firm is developing brand equity in your state, your region, and even nationally. So, Jason, turn over to you for your final thoughts on how brand and digital value will increase PI firm values in 2023 and beyond.
Yeah. So I look at it like when I'm working with a brand new company that we've only been working with a year, and we're just building out their content strategy, their social strategy, their SEO strategy. We look at the actual average cost per sign per case, right? And in some cases, like, it's very high. It might be like $3,500 for a PI firm for an average cost per sign case. But as they start to do more social media, as they start to do more brand building, as they start to do more SEO, content writing, over time, when I look at a client that we've been working with for 7 years, the average cost per signed case is all the way down to like $300 per signed case, right? So it just shows the compound effect of continuing to show up every single day and do something to get your brand in the eyes of a prospect.
Wonderful. Jason Hennessey, Hennessey Digital, thank you so much for joining today's In 7 Minutes. And that is the state of the